Sometimes there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on.
What a ball! That's amazing!
This is more on target. Got something.
Close, she's got it! She's got it! Back into the ditch for 2.5. Hello and welcome to the Bowls New Zealand broadcast coverage of the 2025 National Intercentre. My name is Alex Reid and we're coming to you live from the Naenae Bowling Club with coverage of this afternoon match between Auckland and Canterbury. Looking forward to this one. It's Tony Grantham from Auckland taking on Hamish Wilson out of Canterbury. And the singles and the pairs you can see in the top right is again Auckland and Canterbury, and they play 18 ends in the fours. Unfortunately, we don't have quite enough cameras to get over to the fours. There's Tony Grantham here. Aggressive from the start here. It's an interesting format, this one at the Intercentre, because I think it's probably the only time in New Zealand where we play to 25 shots, not 21. And there's just that little bit more time. I can tell you that in the first round it was as we wait for this bowl. Oh, it's not bad. Chipped it off, but going to be an interesting start. We'll see how many that was in the end to Canterbury. Tony looking to kill it. And there seems to be, we're just waiting to... Oh, someone's got a measure, that's always helpful. What was I saying? I can tell you that Auckland had a successful first up match, and Canterbury were defeated by Bay of Plenty in their round. Hamish Wilson losing the singles rubber to Anthony Ulay. The Canterbury Fours team defeated the Bay of Plenty Fours team, but in the pairs they also were unable to get up for the win, with Nathan Arledge and Paul Anderson defeating Lance Pascoe and Matt Bassett. So a good start for the Bay of Plenty team, and Canterbury will be looking to bounce back. Right, what was that on the first end? Canterbury has scored, Hamish Wilson has scored. And it's either one or two. The scoreboard currently says 16-14 after 17 ends, which is absolutely that's not correct. I'm looking forward to being joined in the commentary booth by John McBeath a little later. He's involved in the selection of the Kapiti team, and they had a heartbreaking first match, which we'll talk about when he gets into the booth with me, where they were 1 up last end of the pairs, dropped to 2 to lose, lost the singles to South Otago, and won the fours. So agonisingly close to starting off with a match win here at the Intercentre for Kapiti Coast, and licking their wounds at the moment. So John will join after that. Nice bowl from Hamish. After Tony's first bowl, he'll be disappointed with that as his second. And it was 1 to Canterbury on that first end in this race to 25. Originally in the team for Canterbury was Kelvin Scott, and it's expected that he would have played the singles, but has had to pull out, and Hamish Wilson very ably stepped into his shoes. Current president of the Burnside Bowling Club, and has been in or around bowls for the best part of 20 years. Only holding the 1, Tony Grantham, and Hamish with a decision to make. He may look to play with some weight. I think he's going to opt to play his forehand. Yeah, it's nice weight to go Jack or bowl. He was just on the wide side. Had the chance for Tony to bounce back immediately. Make it 2. Oh, he's not quite. No, he has done it. That's a great bowl from Tony Grantham. So a 2 to bounce back from the first end. And 2-1 the score. Oh, well, I've called it 2. Hamish looks like he might disagree. Call it 1.5. And welcome, John. I've told everyone that you were in a very high-level Kapiti meeting after.
Yeah.
It must have been an agonising first round for you guys.
It was, yes, it was. It was pleasing in some regards, but agonising when we were 1 each, like we'd lost the singles against a very good South Otago team and then won the fours, and then it was 14 all playing the 14th. We picked up a single on the 15th and then dropped a 2 on the 16th. Whatever it was. No, 15th, of course. No, 18th, wasn't it? 18
The last end.
Yeah,
the last end, yeah.
So we just had a quick debrief, which is something you don't get an opportunity to do very often at major events like this. And it was quite good just to say well done and think about the next game. I was interested that Tony Grantham's playing singles. It's not his forte, is it? But he's such a good lead. But there is such a strong combination.
Yeah, it would make sense, I suppose, that if you're a good lead, it should make a good singles player comes from that. He had a good start in the first round, Tony Grantham, I think.
Yes. Well, I'm just so pleased that the weather's playing its part. It was misty and drizzly and cold this morning, but the Kapiti weather has arrived here in Wellington now.
Are you trying to claim that you bought the Kapiti weather?
Yeah. Well, it was fine when I left there, and half an hour later in the Hutt Valley it was as I previously described.
So this is, Tony Grantham won the New Zealand singles. What year are we? 2025. I want to say 2005 or 6.
Something like that. It's a few years ago. He's won those Peers Championships in between then, hasn't he? with Gary Lawson.
Now the holder of a Bowls New Zealand Gold Star. And Joe Edwards was telling us during the fours and mixed pairs that Hamish Wilson played bowls in Nelson for some time in his youth. He's been around for a long time, very competent player. Must be interesting. I was saying before you hopped in the booth, it was Kelvin Scott who was originally due to play the singles for Canterbury. He's had to pull out. I'm not sure how much warning Hamish got, but it must be an interesting psychological exercise, mustn't it, having you get a phone call or something and they say, well, you're it.
Or you get to the greens and you say, well, where's Kelvin? Oh, didn't we tell you? He's not coming, you're playing singles. Oh, thanks very much.
I'm not quite sure that's how it went.
I don't think the Canterbury Centre is quite that disorganised. I'll send out a call to Alec Wiley in Picton, who's, I know, watching. He would love to be here. And Jenny, of course, Jenny Anderson with him. Such big Bowls fans, and I was just chatting to them yesterday and said, oh, will you get over? And they said, I would love to, but I said, I'll give you a call. So I call out. So you've had a word to the markers, have you, Alex?
Yeah,
About,
we might send a another kettle prod out. It's easy to get absorbed in the game. Right, so Hamish has had a look. It's hard to tell who's holding there. I would say it looks like it's the Canterbury bowl, the blue bowl that sits at
2 o'clock.
Yeah, to the jack.
Yeah.
Hamish isn't going to add to it, so we'll just wait and see here.
Oh yeah, Hamish has got it. He's been given the mat by Tony Grantham as they walk down. I like that. We're not going to kick the bowls back anywhere. We're going to put the mat down in front of them.
Fair enough.
So Grantham wanders down and changes the board way down the far end there. The marker is now jogging. So many things for a marker to do. Write the score on the card and straighten the jack.
Etc., etc. There we go. Well, there's
But
the jack.
timing those two things, the order in which you do them is sometimes quite difficult.
Seems like a long game, doesn't it, when it goes to 25 shots up, and we've seen the umpire called to measure the minimum, to see if it's made the minimum length, which is 20 something metres, 23 metres, 20.
Seen a fair bit of that actually on this rink. We saw it 3 times that I saw in a pairs match where they're obviously keen to play the short ends.
Right. That's pretty close.
Not up.
Can't have been by much. So the jack has been incorrectly delivered. So back it goes, and Tony gets to set the length now. It can become a game within a game sometimes, can't it, when we talk about the jack delivery?
And also it's so important when you haven't got the jack that you take note of where your opponent places the mat, where he wants the jack. Keep putting that into your memory bank. Always useful.
You said we did have, you correctly said we had rain this morning, or like a light drizzle this morning, more than rain, which sort of slowed the green down. Now we've had sun out for a little while, so I wonder if we'll see it start to free up as we head into the afternoon bowls.
Well, some of the bowlers we're talking about will see the sort of greener patches that are there. There's no doubt that they had an effect, as they do on any rink. So getting through those green patches or having the jack in a green patch, your bowl can slow down quite remarkably or have an effect. And then making your alteration takes a fair bit of skill, because you've got to make sure you get exactly the same line again. Here's a good bowl just coming inside, getting that nice favourable flick from Wilson. So 2-all, first to 25. As you said, Alex, it's a long game, or it can be. And you get to those stages in a traditional 21 shot end where you say, right, he's on 17, so
Close
can
to
go out.
the finish, you would think.
Now you've got to get to 21 before you can say that.
I think I'm right in saying it's probably the only event left in New Zealand where it's 25 up. Everything seems to be first 21 shots nowadays. It's a lovely bowl from Hamish Wilson.
Perfect weight.
I cannot believe that it was cold earlier today.
I know.
Essentially created a sauna in the broadcast room. Just half a bowl white there from Tony. It was a great effort. Be careful, Hamish. Oh, that heart would have been in the mouth there as the bowl zipped past the jack. If he had hit it back, it just would have been a slice from hell.
I don't know whether you've talked about the history
No, go
of
for
the
your life,
event,
John. No,
Alex.
no, not yet.
Alex has been doing a lot of homework on this and has the magazines that we've talked about previously, the Bowls New Zealand magazines. Got them all nicely packaged. And the history of this, in summary, it was basically that one of the great sports supporters, sponsors of a few years ago, 50 years back, Rothmans, came to Bowls New Zealand and said, we'd like to sponsor a national bowls tournament. And I think they already had the Rothmans National Championships and that anyway.
Yes, they did, yeah.
But they wanted something a bit different. So they put it to the Bowls Association of the time, and they got together with their 30 plus councillors and made the decision that yes, they would have an Intercentre event. And so that's where it started. And of course, Rothmans at the time had some wonderful sports people as ambassadors, the likes of Peter Snell and Don Clark from rugby and Bert Sutcliffe. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bob McDonald from Bowls was one of those. Yeah. There were some very famous smokers on the greens back in the day. And so it appealed to Bowls New Zealand as it would with any sport. Gosh, we're going to get some money and support for this. So they took it up, and it's been going ever since.
A very good I mean, it's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah,
to have an inter-provincial national championship for any sport.
So 1970, it was played for the first time and won by the South Island division winner Christchurch, who beat Northland in the final. It certainly is still the pinnacle of centre bowls. To get into an inter-centre team is a great achievement. And then to get up and play against some of the best bowlers in the country is something that a lot of bowlers just don't get the opportunity to do very often.
And you were enthralling me with your conversation, John. I've forgotten to take note of the score. That must have been...
It's 5-2.
Oh, brilliant. So it was a 3 to Hamish Wilson.
Yeah.
He lost his first match of singles against Anthony Ulay from the Bay of Plenty.
Oh, right.
So 25-16 or 25-17, perhaps. I sat and watched that game. Anthony played lovely bowls. So I'll be looking to recover in this one. It's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it, at this Intercentre?
Yeah. Gosh, in a normal, 21 shot, you drop a 4 somewhere along the line and you think, oh, that's it. But you've got to realise that once you drop a 4, if you do, that person's still got 21 shots to get. So it doesn't have quite the same impact, although dropping a 4 in a singles match is a pain. But in this standard, and I've watched a few of the games around this morning, those players holding 4, one bowl to play, and the other bowler comes in and grabs the shot off them. So never is a game finished until that last bowl has been played.
So in the picture-in-picture that you can see at the top right is the pairs match between Auckland and Canterbury. It's Riker Gregory playing with Adam Blucher, taking on Lance Pascoe and Matt Bassett. In the first round this morning, Auckland played South Canterbury. In the singles, Tony Grantham defeated South Canterbury 25 shots to 8. The pairs, though, Auckland lost 9 shots to 22 to the South Canterbury pair. And then the fours, they won 14-6. So there's actually been a shuffle in the pairs match. It was originally Davey Motu leading off in the pair and Adam Blucher on the bench. They flicked that around, so Adam now off the front. And it's one of those things you can do at this Intercentre, isn't it, John?
Yes, yeah.
The managers have the right to... You can actually change your entire team makeup. You could change your singles player if you wanted to in between every round.
Can you bring in your reserve for any other reason than a...
You can do
unavailability? You can use that.
Yeah, 8th player you can use. Yep.
So that South Canterbury team, I think we had Marshall Stoddart in it, and we saw Marshall Stoddart playing that fantastic fours final down at Burnside a couple of weeks ago. So that's a good win for them.
Tony's already updated the scoreboard to read 7-2. Which I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
As Hamish is measuring for third shot. And Tony going, look, I've put this on the board. So 7-2 lead, that's a good start for Hamish.
Well, yeah.
Considering that he lost his first match and that South Canterbury scored 8 shots in the singles in the first round. So Tony in danger of being challenged as much as he was in the first round already. All the results are available, of course, on results.bowlsub.co.nz. You can see it there along the bottom of your screen. If you type that into the URL space on your phone or on your laptop or PC or however you access the internet, you'll be able to see the results. And you will find that some sections have nothing in them yet. That's because some sections did not begin play today. They got the day off, so that will be why there wouldn't be results in for some of the sections.
I think too, when you get into that Bowls Hub, there are various areas that you can go to, such as entries.
Yes.
And then you can look for your team, and that will take you directly to their results if you're not sure of what section your province is in. And it's lots of information there, points table, ladder, all that sort of thing, so you can update yourself quite rapidly.
It'll become more important as the event goes on, but the ladder, as you say, John, probably the easiest way to understand what centre's qualifying, because it just gives a cut line as you would see in the golf, and it'll become more accurate. It'll become more relevant as it goes on when people have actually played some bowls, but the ladder, the easiest way to find it. Essentially, the Intercentre is run on a centre versus centre system. So in section play, if your centre beats everyone else, you'll qualify, and then it goes into post section. Sounds simple, eh?
Yeah. I was delighted to see that article printed, I think, probably in the Otago Daily Times, but reproduced on the Bowls New Zealand website about the McEwen family, the youngsters aged 9 and 12, and their dad, and how well they'd performed over the years. Ended up playing against them in the fours in qualifying at the national championships. I didn't feel uncomfortable playing it. I was leading against the 12-year-old Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just had to concede, really, that he was a very good bowler. And then 9-year-old Lockie gets on and plays 2, and it was just so good talking to them. They didn't talk much, but they were confident, competent. Dad taught them a lot because Brent's a well-known golfer and bowler as well, and Ross Stevens was in the team.
Oh, look at this from Tony. He's chipped it out.
Sure, nice shot.
That's an outstanding bowl, isn't it?
That was worth it too, wasn't it? It was certainly to give him the shot, but
clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
Is that Michael Feek? I think it is. Watching on, he's has been on the Auckland Bowls board in the past.
Stephen O'Driscoll standing up to the left, High Court judge and in-law to the famous Scott family from Central Otago, having married into that mob. Married into that family.
I won't press you on that, John.
And talking with Peter Bellis, so nice to see Peter up and about, and as usual supporting whatever bowls is on.
You think Wanganui finished runners-up last year, didn't they, in the men's Intercentre? They did. They finished runners-up. I'm sure they did. To Wellington. And Peter was part of that.
Yes,
team.
yeah, that's right.
It's one of the smaller centres, but they've always sort of punched above their metaphorical weight. I've found with Wanganui, it's a sporting city.
Yep.
And yeah, not the biggest centre, but you look back over the years and there's been some great bowlers that have come out of the Wanganui. I think they may have won the Intercentre too, actually, in the 80s at some point.
Yeah, they've had a lot of strong players.
Oh, you've got Keith Slight and Peter Bellis, Sean Johnson.
Yes, Keith Slight, of
It's
course.
been good to see Sean come back to the game, actually, John. He played for New Zealand in the early noughties, and then I suppose as happens with lots of people, you have a family and work commitments, so we didn't see so much of Sean on the national stage, but he's come back to bowls, and I've seen his name featured in the pointy end of some of the Bowls Wanganui events recently.
Now, I just looking back through some of that history that you brought along, Alex. Neville Hill,
Yes.
playing out of Dunedin in 1970. I just saw him wander past here, and I thought I saw your name on one of those early result sheets. So when this was played first in 1970, it was won by Christchurch. They won it the following year as well, and included players such as Wally Wilkinson and Stan Lawson, Gary's father. Then Auckland won it with Bob McDonald in there. Then Dunedin for the next 3 years included Gordon Jolly, who skipped the Commonwealth Games gold medal winning 4, Kerry Clark, who was in that team, Ernie Wilson, who won the national singles title in 1975, I think, Kevin Darling, still rated as one of the best players ever to play for New Zealand. And then I look down there and I see Neville Hill was 3 in the 4s on each of those occasions when they won it. And here he is, still rolls a mean bowl and watches his kids and grandkids playing as well.
He's one of the best ones to have played the game, Neville, and I believe that he is the player who has won the most Intercentre titles out of different centres. Yeah. He may have won one with like a Hawke's Bay.
Hawke's Bay, he was there when I was living in Hawke's Bay.
Dunedin.
He did. He won the singles for Hawke's Bay in 1978. So 3 titles there for Dunedin as a 3 in the 4s. It's an easy name to pick up on a list, actually. Taranaki, he won it twice.
Yes.
As what was he in then? In the Piers, skipping the Piers with Jeff Hawken.
Well, that's 2.
It's 2, 5, 7. So he's got 7 titles that I can see. So it's pretty impressive.
Quite remarkable.
Yep.
And Tony scoring again. So Hamish raced to 7. And it's one more to Tony. So the score 4-7 in this race to 25 shots. See Auckland leading 9-6 in the Piers match.
And then I see Hill won it as the singles player for Canterbury Provincial in 1991.
Ah, that must be the, yep.
So that's 3 for Dunedin, 1 for Hawke's Bay, 1 for Canterbury Provincial, and the other 2 for Taranaki.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
He's always been one of those players to watch out for and still capable of just
Oh, yeah.
playing incredible bowls. I can remember watching Neville play on rink 7 at Bowls Orewa when we had the torrential rain for the Nationals there a few years ago, and he played John Gray, who had just won the New Zealand Fours title and was playing good bowls. And I sat and watched, and Neville, I think he won 21-3, 21-4. John played well.
Yep.
John would have beaten most people the way he was playing. He was putting sort of 4 bowls within 2 or 3 feet, and Neville couldn't miss. He drew the eye of a needle, put the jack in the ditch when he needed to. It was just quite a staggering exhibition of bowls.
So 7-4 now. Hamish Wilson of Canterbury. His light blue or bright blue bowls almost.
Just get the feeling that Tony was in the process of settling into this match. And it can be quite frightening once he has successfully settled into a match, can't he?
Hamish is one of those bowlers who has a little flick of the wrist on the end of his backswing. Deliberately playing for that shot to try and turn the shot bowl out, or maybe move the jack back where it would have given him a couple of shots.
Well, so he's got that good position now.
Yeah, this is a counter.
Oh, that's a lovely bowl from Tony. Before Tony put that bowl there, it looked quite easy for Hamish just to trail the jack back in that 5 o'clock direction. But now, not so good. It's a bowl to crash into.
Yeah, I think so. And he might ignore that last bowl and still play that same shot that he was looking at previously and still sit the shot bowl or an inside edge on that, or pull the jack back a wee bit. He was so close to getting it last time. Just looked to give it a bit more green, did he, this time? Yeah. So that might be a 3. It might well be a level game once they've measured here. 1, 2, no need to measure. Grantham picks up the mat. The score goes to 7-all.
Just like that, 7 apiece.
Yep. So this is a clash, the singles clash between Auckland and Canterbury, who have ended up in the same section.
Two of the bigger centres, aren't they?
Yeah, you'd say that this is absolutely a clash of the major forces, but in recent times it really has been Canterbury that's had the edge.
It's one of those, well, not a conundrum. It's one of those things about bowls that doesn't make a huge amount of sense, and that if we think that the Intercentre's been running for 54 years, and in that time the Auckland team has won it, they wouldn't have won it 10 times even, maybe 5 or 6 wins.
Yep.
Whilst being a very successful centre at a national level, and a centre where you get lots of national champions from, and it's a big, well-run centre with good centre events and depth, and they seem to just not quite have had the success you would think they might have.
Yep.
Whereas somewhere like Dunedin has a very proud history in the Intercentre. They've won it a number of times, 14, 15, 16 times. They had a period where they dominated the Intercentre. It's one of the smaller centres in the country. It's sort of, I don't know. Bowls is one of those sports where it doesn't always make a lot of sense, John.
No. A bit like us sometimes.
You're not wrong.
So from last year's results, the quarterfinalists are seeded, and they are placed in seeded order in these, so they go through the 4 sections. So the semi-finalists and quarter-finalists are all seeded for this. Hence you do get clashes such as this. So Canterbury playing Auckland because they were both quarter-finalists last time. So Wellington won it. Their team is here, apart from, I've only seen Steve Ditford here today on Blake's signal.
He was here earlier, yeah.
Yeah. But Auckland won it the previous year with a team of Mike Galloway, who had everyone talking after the fours final because of his brilliant play. Tony Grantham, Jamie Hill, Nick Thompson, Marty Dixon, Aidan Takarua, Adam Wisnowski. So it's a different team this year from Auckland, with Takarua having gone to Southland.
Yes, for 2 years, yep.
Yep.
They do have, it's a massive centre. They get huge entries in their centre events, the Auckland team, and it always feels like they're well prepared.
Yep.
You look, for over 50 years, it's just been slightly underperformed.
So they won it in 2022. This is Auckland we're talking. They won it in 2016, and they won it in 2012. So that's 3 times in the last 13 years. In fact, 3 times this century. Yeah, so not what you'd expect.
Hamish there was a bit unlucky, just slightly wide. Beautiful weight, and Tony scores again.
I remember once earlier this year we were talking about Tony Grantham and watching him, and he actually threw the jack off the centre line. You know, it was just a horror.
Just the once, yeah.
Just one. I remember once he did it. Yep.
I'm sure he would have been disappointed with himself too, John, or was to do with the wind.
That's right, yeah.
He's frightening to play when he gets going. That's a nice bowl from Hamish Wilson, who ran out to that 7-2 lead. It has failed to score for the last 3 ends. perfect weight from Tony. I don't want to jinx it, John, but there's not been a huge amount of wind today, has there? It's been quite a calm day in Wellington.
Yeah, it is having a wee effect out there, but it's not
It's a
what you would.
little-
Not what you would say. Not what you're used to when you've been here before. Even the Australians would say, no wind today.
Oh, in the area here. And snick the jack over as well. That's outstanding bowling from Tony Grantham.
You are a couple down. Two.
Hamish switching to the back end. He's very close here. Needs it to get down just a little bit. Oh, that's unlucky. Great try. Had every chance in the world. He was maybe an eighth of a bowl wide. And a short bowl out of nowhere from Tony Grantham, so we'll see Hamish attack this again. Maybe a little bit quicker this time. Yes, he is. Oh, the weight was good, but he's just underneath the line. And it's going to be more shots on Tony Grantham's ledger. Question is how many.
Ralph Vulu, a good Naenae bloke who's doing the marking. I saw him having lunch, so he should have plenty of energy. Using this fine facility to its full effect.
There's some nice food places around, actually. I mean, the cafe obviously very nice here at the Naenae Bowling Club. I did discover the creamy power pies
Did you?
across the road
Yeah.
last time we were here for the
Yep.
Trans-Tasman. Very nice. They were too. And the marker has not updated the scoreboard. He'll get there. We'll say it was... Should we say it was 1? Because it was at
I
least
think so,
it was
yeah.
at least 1 to Tony. This is a good shot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
better from Hamish Wilson. He'll be happy with that. So it's at least 10-7.
So we've got our score there has Auckland on top and Canterbury underneath, but the board on the rink has it the other way around.
Yes, and the logic for look at this. That's
Beautiful.
that's pretty good. The logic for that was on this one occasion, I thought, because we have to follow the draw usually.
Yep.
So the draw has Canterbury on the left and Auckland on the right. But Canterbury famously red.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And Auckland famously
Go blue.
are blue. So I thought it was more confusing to have it the other way around. In conclusion, although Hamish is now playing with blue bowls, so had I kept
that's
it,
right.
had I kept it, he would have matched whatever. But we'll get there.
Well, I just walked out the door a moment ago, and someone said, "John, I think the scores are the wrong way around on the."
No.
So you haven't confused anyone, really.
Cool, that's good. I'm glad. Only ourselves. The jack's just to the... Oh, there it is. He's looking for the jack in the ditch here,
Yeah.
Tony Grantham. Oh, that was perfect weight just to trail it in, wasn't it?
Yep. Hamish almost with a smile on his face as if to say, I can't believe that missed Tony. It was going all the way.
We'll see it enter from the right of our screen very shortly. There it is. He's short.
See what sort of adjustment he makes. You'd hardly change a thing, would you, with that from that last one?
In your head, you think,
Yeah.
I'll just play exactly the same
and
bowl.
look at this. He's taken an inch or two green difference, and he's going to get it. Oh gosh!
I mean, he couldn't have done. He could have done
no.
much more. Well, there's only one Tony Grantham bowl on the green, isn't there?
Two, I think. Well, one's right in behind the other, so he might hold a couple of shots. Is there one in behind there? Yeah, you can
Oh,
see
there
one in
is.
behind the blue.
And that bowl's just on the wide side.
So Rolf changes the score on the card.
Tony or Hamish will update the scoreboard, I would think.
Yep.
It's now eight or nine unanswered points or shots from Tony Grantham here. The score 12-7.
So up in the corner you see that Piers game continuing, very close. Auckland and Canterbury there, 10-9, 8. Eighth end being played of 18. There'll be a fours match on somewhere as well. They're playing 15 ends. Again, Grantham pretty much in the zone now. I doubt we'll see Grantham change his hand because he's been playing that forehand, and with that bowl being, oh, you know, right, tell a lie, he does change it. I thought with it being a good metre short that he might just continue to play on the same hand, but when you play it like this, there's no need to worry about
It's not
which
like-
hand you're playing.
It's not like we're often right in the commentary anyway. It does feel like for Hamish, who ran out to such a quick lead, 7-2 after
Yes.
after 3. He'll be thinking, and obviously race to 25. I mean, this is nothing. 7-12 is nothing yet, but probably thinking he's about to score. You just want to stay within cooey of your opposition, and it has been 9 unanswered shots now from Tony Grantham. So Hamish will just be in the back of your mind. You start thinking, I need to just score, even if it's one every 3 ends, or go end about, just to stay within cooey. And he's got a chance here. That's a poor bowl from Tony Grantham. On the right line.
Certainly isn't. He doesn't need to take much off from his last.
That's a lovely bowl.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, well played.
And you see how effective one bowl can be. I mean, if that had turned that over a couple of times, that would have given him 3 shots. So from 1 down to 3 up with one bowl, it's one of those great situations to be in. You can be down on the head, but absolutely not out of it, eh? Potentially.
That's one of the
score.
yeah. It's the great thing about the singles game too. When you get those 4 bowls, that's a lovely weight from Tony. Ralph, what are you going to tell us?
Last ball's the shot.
The last bowl's the shot. Wouldn't that rip your ration book if you're Hamish? You're probably thinking, finally, I'm going to get on the or start scoring again. He's had to switch to the forehand.
Lovely track.
He's in the area.
Oh, if he could just nudge that jack. Or hold up now.
You wouldn't.
Hold up. That might be
Oh,
enough.
good bowl.
Yeah. Watch who gets the mat. Does Tony Grantham? Hands it over. No messing around. Just, yep, it's yours. Take it.
So he's done enough.
Yep, Hamish takes the mat out a bit. Change it up a wee bit, because he was in a really hot run of form, as Alex mentioned. He was 7-1, 7-2 up, and then failed to score. Now it's 12-8.
It was after we saw... it was, wasn't it? Because Hamish delivered a jack incorrectly, and Tony then stretched the length out.
Yep.
And Hamish hadn't scored again, and
Uh-oh.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
Hamish has just delivered the jack into the ditch. So that means Tony gets to place it where he... well, not place it, but deliver it to where he would like it to go. It is an often neglected part of the game for us mere mortals, John, and it's very important.
So you see what's happened here. Wilson dragged the mat out quite a way, halfway up the rink. As soon as he throws it in the ditch, Grantham just takes he's bowling pretty much a 2-2. So from having an opportunity to change it to a really short end, or at least 3/4, now Wilson finds himself playing to Grantham's favoured distance.
Yeah, it's just something we don't think about it as much as we could in bowls, but very important. And you get a feel too, if you're playing well, you get a feel for it and you deliver the jack and you sort of know that you can play the same weight with your first bowl. So we often see people in good runs of form, they'll deliver the jack in their first bowls within a foot of the jack every time.
See, just out to our right, I think you mentioned Uele from Bay of Plenty having a good win in his... Did he beat... Is it Grantham he beat?
No, he defeated a man.
Hamish
Hamish
that's
Wilson.
right, yeah,
Hamish
yeah.
Wilson, there we go.
And then, but he's playing Tom Tairoa from South Canterbury. So it's just looking around those, some of the matchups are fantastic.
You've got your top 7 bowlers, top 8 bowlers from every district.
Yeah.
How did he find the gap there, Hamish Wilson? That delivery from Tony Grantham's has never changed either. Smooth as silk.
The same applies. How did he find that gap?
Seems a bit ridiculous sometimes. I've seen a number of players from centres that aren't in action today pop down to the Naenae Bowling Club. Just had the Waikato men walk past. Rinse and repeat for Tony. He's very close here. Needs it to hold.
Oof, yeah.
It's a good try. So we'll see Hamish play with a bit of aggression here, won't we? On the forehand, even if he's just raking it back, you'd still think you'd
Well, he's
use
set up, isn't he, on the right-hand side as we view it. Any movement of the jack back there would be monumentally advantageous to him. He'd be wanting a fifth bowl, I think, because he's got 4 back there now.
Yeah. Perfect catching position.
Now, on the other side of it, of course, if Grantham moves the jack, he'll potentially grab 4. So he's playing that hand. If he bumps into his own bowl, and that'll move the jack a few centimetres or 2. No, why not just draw one?
Just draw for 2.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good bowling from Tony. And it's going to be 2 more shots. So 14-8 the score now. Playing well, and if you're playing a man of Tony's calibre, this is probably as far behind as you'd like to be. If we put ourselves in Hamish's shoes, very winnable from here, 8-14, but you start going more than 6 shots down, and you're asking for Tony to have quite a few ends off. Whereas if you're within that sort of six shots or less, it's catchable, or it feels catchable. So my point is, I think Hamish has to score here.
Yes.
Which is what I could have. That's what I could have said instead of going on a diatribe about.
I think
how many
you summed it
shots
up
from-
nicely in those last 5 words. Hamish needs to score now.
I'll keep it under advisement for the next time. Good first bowl from Tony Grantham.
And that makes it difficult, doesn't it? So what we've got now is Wilson can't afford to be short, so he's got to try and reach that shot bowl. So this, while it's a couple of metres over, it's not a bad bowl. Nice position for him. Depends what Grantham thinks of Wilson's ability in some ways here. Does he just put one over because he knows that there's the potential for Wilson, or does he just draw another one? Well, he's done both really, hasn't he? He's drawn over the head, but it is a second shot.
Counting still, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always an interesting thing because Tony's got to 14 shots playing a certain style, and there's often that argument. So, well, why would you change what you have been doing? I think we can triple bluff ourselves sometimes. Hamish switching hands. Oh, this is beginning to look like a scary end for both, actually, because there's a risk and reward here for Hamish. He could try and go jack in the ditch, but if he misses, he'll be dropping a 3 or a 4. If he gets it, at the moment, it's worth 3 still.
I think Grantham's throwing the challenge out, isn't he? If you're good enough, go get this. Just enough weight to give him a third shot.
Still hasn't covered the jack in the ditch.
No.
I wouldn't mind seeing Hamish play this. I think there's merit.
Looks to be searching for it. Sitting the second bowl, second shot. Got some good targets here, isn't he? Oh, he's going to find that hole, is he? Oh,
No, he's
played
got
this
it perfect.
beautifully. Yeah,
That's
good bowl.
outstanding.
Pressure bowl.
Tony will want to know if he's holding the shot or not. Measure, come and have a look, he says. Fair enough.
Yep.
What would you pick as being the shot, John?
Oh, well, I thought Hamish had done enough, but that's not a great angle for us, is it? And if he has done enough, Tony's still got to bowl on the side that he's standing down there.
I don't think it changes. I
No.
think regardless of who's holding it, doesn't change
Yeah.
Tony's shot, which should be just to draw as close as he possibly can on the backhand side.
Yeah, but if any movement of the jack at all, even a matter of
Just a
18
little bit.
inches or
Yeah.
something like that, and he's got a 3. So it is. Backhand he goes.
Such a smooth delivery.
I think he might like this.
Oh, he's right in the area.
He's going to move that jack. Yep. Oh, too far.
Needs it to keep running. Needs it to keep running. Oh, dear.
Oh, gee. Almost, but not quite perfect.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, so he had to take that clean. He just had a couple of metres too much weight on it. So now an opportunity, Hamish. He wanders back, having been down there and watched that shot of Grantham's. He'll deliver. Grantham will walk in and pick up the mat, and they'll walk down together. Pretty tidy line here from Wilson. Nudge his own one up, or no?
Oh, be
don't
careful.
nudge the. Oh gosh,
sold the
give that
farm.
away. Yeah.
I think he sold the farm there. And while we're waiting, we'll just watch that bowl of Tony Grantham's again.
Plays to the perfect line, about 1.5 metres short. So there's 3 greens in action here at Naenae. This one away to our right as we view it from here.
So you called me
Down to the left.
multi-talented before, John, but I think no one would have been able to hear us. I'm pretty sure we were muted on YouTube.
Oh, do you want me to say? Do you want me to say that you're multi-talented?
Yeah, it was
again?
nice. It was
Yeah,
nice to
yeah.
hear. Yeah.
I was going to ask a question. I noticed it in just a club event somewhere recently where someone had thrown the jack up, and the marker picked it up before it had stopped.
Yes.
And the opposing player said, "I think that was going into the ditch. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have stopped it." And the marker said, and probably quite rightly, no, it was going into the ditch. Don't do that again, please. So I think that's a fair call, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can judge as a marker if it's going to go into the ditch, but if it's getting close to the ditch, then you really got to hands up and just let it stop.
For the sake of 4 or 5 seconds out of your day,
Yeah,
to let
yeah.
it go into the ditch, I think it's wise just to leave it.
And I said that because I saw with Rolf Vulu there, he waited. That jack was getting up to sort of 0.5 metre from the ditch, but he waited, stood there, you could see him waiting, and then just moved it back to the tee with his foot. I should have asked Steve Sargent about that, but he had his mouth full when he walked past. So. Not for the first time in his life. That's a nice opening bowl here from Wilson. And
Oh, look at this.
Grantham, he's doing it again, gosh. Going in this direction, a couple of ends ago, he just missed with running the jack into the ditch. He already had a couple of shots anyway. Sort of passive-aggressive, isn't it? Not a full-out go at the jack, just that nice weight that he can play.
I've never seen Tony really wind up with a
No.
full-blooded drive. He's a draw bowler, or there's a slight extension on the bowl he played then, a run shot. If this stays up, it's not going to.
So now, I wonder if he'd look at that blue bowl, which would be holding him out. Oh, there's still one to play, of course.
Yeah, if he had last bowl,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he would certainly.
As you can see that blue bowl there, even though the bowls are so far away from the jack. I think he's overplayed it.
I was going to say, a man who practices drawing to the ditch and has done for many years. You think this is sort of bread and butter to him. But at 15-8 and holding shot now with the jack in the ditch, 16-8, getting very much closer to victory here, Tony Grantham.
So this bowl, very important from Hamish Wilson.
He certainly holds second shot anyway. Drawing it to the ditch. Looks to be going in, and it splashes.
It's a lovely effort, but not to be, and Tony Grantham holding on to that mat. And as you say, it's going to be 16 shots to 8, so 9 to go for Tony Grantham to win this game. Of course, a race at 25 shots, not 21 shots, which we're used to seeing in New Zealand. The other game between Auckland and Canterbury and the Peers, Canterbury leads 15-9, so if these both hold true, it will come down to the fours match. I'll see if I can get an update on that at some stage. We tried.
Grantham just zipping through the centre line, but weight's pretty good.
Yeah, so just to make sense to people, it is the two top place centres in every section that progress through to post sections. So when you have a look at BowlSub, which is at results.bowlsub.co.nz, and you're wondering, well, what does this even mean? What you're looking for are the top two centres on the ladder, because they will go through to post section, which starts on Friday afternoon. Yes, must be Friday afternoon, because I think we've got a post section game scheduled to broadcast and then goes through. So, no, it's not Friday afternoon. What day are we today, John?
We're Thursday now. So
well, it's not Friday afternoon.
No.
That'd be ridiculous. Saturday afternoon and into Sunday is where it goes. But top two finishing centres in each section are the ones that qualify.
well, this will be the most scattered head we've seen, I think.
Yeah, certainly not what we've seen.
So Grantham holding shot with that one at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, he's just about made it.
Yeah. Standing up to look out the window if I can and see. No, I don't think that's any closer than that wing ball. But it must look a bit scary to Hamish Wilson down on the mat. 'Cause it will look as though he's 3 down.
Yeah, right in the middle as well. Got it away nicely. Yes,
he's
look at
played it
this.
well.
That's outstanding. Yeah, good shot.
The mat changes hands, and it's with Hamish Wilson now. Twice he's thrown the jack into the ditch.
Well, that's going to be the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he'll know that too. It'll be in the back of his head. He'll be thinking, the last 2 times I've scored, I've not delivered the jack correctly afterwards. Be ironic if he hasn't made it this time. Yeah. Hamish has called the umpire on himself. Do a great job, don't they, the umpires, the volunteer umpires that we have?
Well, yeah. I think we've got 3 umpires, 4 umpires here. A man with an enormous goatee.
Yes, he umpired at the Trans-Tasman as well.
Yeah. So enthusiastic. I am searching for his name now, but anyway.
We did a story from him on the
On
the
had a
Bowls
yarn
New
from
Zealand website.
with him.
Yeah.
He just loves it. He's travelled all over the place. And that's not him now with the tape. That's David Burridge.
Well, that's 3 out of 3.
Gee,
Not ideal.
you can lose a game on that.
It's just not, psychologically, that's not good.
Because already we've seen Grantham just kick all those bowls right back past the 2 metre mark.
Brilliant.
Good.
Just
Zero
got,
letter hope.
Yeah, we did, and
Yeah.
it's we can report that the score on the 4s, Canterbury lead 5 shots to 3 after 6 ends. So it must have been a few kills in that game, or they're taking their time at this Intercentre. So when we look on our screen, we can see that Auckland lead the singles, obviously 16 shots to 9. Canterbury lead the pairs, Canterbury lead the 4s. So at the moment, as it sits, Canterbury is in a position to win the match, although as we spoke, Canterbury dropped a 2, so it's right teetering on a knife's edge, isn't it? All square in the 4s, Canterbury leading the pairs and losing the singles. So literally a game going every possible way that it can go in bowls.
Gee. So playing away from the clubhouse, we're situated just in behind where we saw Hamish Wilson on the mat. So we get a good little view down the 2 TV rinks. Nice gentle touch there by Wilson, gives him the shot and a toucher.
A lovely bowl. Well, this is also on a very good line.
Hey, you can take those words back.
No.
Well, look at it. It's right in direct line with the jack, isn't it?
It was half a bowl narrow, I suppose.
Yeah.
And Hamish aware of the danger, because now if Tony plays the same bowl and takes his line in by a little bit, he's holding 3. So Hamish was trying to get a back bowl there, but has possibly overplayed it a little.
It's just that movement of the jack here again for Grantham. Just going to undercut the shot bowl, but again in a good position. See, all those 3 bowls are all, usable, aren't they? They could come into the score.
This is where I would play, the Jaws theme tune, where you've got that sense of impending doom.
Yeah.
Hamish will be feeling that, because you're you've just got that space where if the jack's trailed to it, you're dropping a 4. And Tony, he plays a pretty good bowl. How's this from Hamish? Needs it to hold. Yes.
Does. Yeah, that's good.
That's outstanding.
So let's cut out all that potential for Tony Grantham.
Now it's almost a full-blooded drive for Tony. I think we're going to see quite some weight here. Yeah, quicker. Looking for both of the bowls. Could get a lucky result off the short one.
Oh, gee. Still 2 down. So, yeah. Well, we just talked about the fact that we don't see often Grantham drive. Well, that was not a full-on drive like his playing partner Gary Lawson would use, but it was a perfect weight, nice weight to do the damage that he wanted to.
That's about as fast as you'll see Tony play a bowl.
Yep. Any faster and he probably feels he might just lose that accuracy. So a weight that you're comfortable with.
And a good comeback here from Hamish Wilson. He's keeping in touch with Tony Grantham. 11-16 the score. That's good. There was a time 2 or 3 ends ago I was a little bit concerned on behalf of Hamish because it looked like Tony had really sort of keyed into the game.
First time in 4 ends that Wilson has not had to A, call for the umpire to measure, or B, concede the match. He's played the jack up nicely. So 16-11, Grantham in front.
Oh, and he's got the weight perfect, but he's pushed it wide. If you are in the Wellington region and thinking about watching the bowls, it's almost everywhere. I can tell you where it is. How about that? For the next 3 days, there'll be play all around Wellington. Obviously, Naenae Bowling Club is where we're broadcasting from and is the headquarters, but also Island Bay, Johnsonville, Silverstream, Stokes Valley, Parapara Umu Beach and Wilton are the host clubs for this National Intercentre event. So there's bowls all around the capital. And free to watch, of course. Some of those beautiful clubs. Wilton, of course, that's the one that's surrounded by all this native shrubbery, isn't it, at Wilton?
Yeah. And Parapara Beach, with as it suggests, the beach within walking distance, and you can hear it when you're playing there. 2 delightful live greens and an artificial, which may well eventually become another live green, which would be fantastic for Wellington.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's quite nice
if
to
they
hear.
go ahead with that, and I know they're discussing it, it would go completely against the trend of going to artificials, but the 2 greens they have there are really well looked after and play perfectly, so it would be fantastic.
Barring Naenae, are there any other clubs in the Wellington region that have 3 live greens?
No.
Oh, that would be clearly that'd be excellent.
Well, there we go. That's 3 for Grantham.
Kicked right back into gear, just as Hamish.
And Hamish had the mat, and his first bowl is that one to the left, the furthest one to the left. Made some sort of corrections, but in the meantime, and between his bowls, it's Grantham just plonking them in, and here's another.
So Hamish really needs this bowl to pull up.
Well, he has made that nice correction. Well, he's getting a bit stressed. No, that it could still be. Let's have a look out there.
Just have a feeling that it's
3.
overplayed.
I think it might be still 3.
Oh, that's going to be absolutely gutting for the Canterbury player. Fought really hard to get back in this game, and you blink. He's played 2 poor bowls and 2 okay bowls, but he's just blinked.
4.
And that's going to be 4 to Tony Grantham.
Is it 4 or 1?
Oh, it's definitely 1, 2.
Only 2.
Just the
Oh,
2.
gosh.
Not quite as dramatic as we were
No.
suggesting. It's still disappointing, though, isn't it? To deliver the jack we want it to go, it would have felt like he was on a good sort of recovery section of the game, and to drop shots.
I like the way, and it's something I've noticed that a lot of players do when they're playing singles or even a lead in a team competition, throwing the jack up and immediately grabbing a bowl, even before you've straightened the jack or anything like that, immediately got the bowl in there, so you're getting that feel for having delivered the jack. Just get the bowl in your hand ready to go and use that same motion.
Do you have to wait until, I suppose you do, you'd have to wait until the jack has stopped before you play your bowl?
I
wouldn't
don't know
you?
about that. I'd like to check, because sometimes you just
You're
feel
in the
like
zone,
doing it.
eh?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
go, I've delivered
One
the
jack, there's now my bowl, without waiting for... And also, I'm totally against people saying, oh, yeah, half an inch that way, quarter of an inch that way, or just a bit. No, it doesn't matter a toss, really, does it? If it's in the centre, you've got the mat, so you should, if the jack finishes up 6 inches to the side of the centre line, does it matter? No.
I don't think so. That was a good bowl from Hamish. Yeah, I wonder. I'm sure someone will tell me.
Yeah.
Well, I've watched. I'll talk about indoor too much, but there was a guy, Grantham, in indoor bowls, who's our best ever indoor bowler, and often when he was in the flow and singles, he'd deliver the jack, and as the marker, it felt like the marker had barely straightened it, and the bowl was out of his hand.
Yes, yeah.
And then it would be a toucher.
Yep. Yep.
And it was just, you're just in that space, and while you can remember the weight that has left your hand with the jack.
Exactly. That's
Why not?
the point I'm making there, yeah.
Hamish plays a good bowl, and we see a better one from Tony Grantham. So now forcing the Canterbury singles player onto the forehand, the other side. If it dives a little bit, it's a good bowl.
Yep.
There or thereabouts. Canterbury with not a comfortable lead, but a lead in the pairs match in your thumbnail.
Yep, and the last we heard, it was level pegging in the 4s.
My glasses should be good enough that if I stand up I can read that. If I could find where they are.
Yeah, that's the next thing.
I'll come back to you on that one. I think there's a 9. 9-5 is the score in the 4s, and it will be 9-5 to Auckland. Yes. So Auckland at the moment holding on to this match win. And it would be a body blow for the Canterbury men's hopes, really, because they lost their first round match-up this morning, didn't they, against Bay of Plenty. Top 2 centres in the section go through. You can afford to lose one match. You're probably asking for some countbacks to go your way if you lose 2.
And other teams to do some work for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the conversation like for the Kapiti team, John? Obviously, is it the first time you've been involved?
First time I've been involved, yeah. Yeah, and because it was, us against South Otago, and I think, most of the teams in our group will be saying, well, we're going to beat Kapiti and South Otago. That, so we were probably looking at, 2 levelish teams, not expected to knock over the big boys, but what the talk was that there are teams that could rely on results in our games to either go up or not progress. So every match is vital, whether it's for yourself or for just damaging others. So you become a bit of a spoiler. But certainly no one's downhearted at all. That performed really well.
Well, we see that quite often, don't we, at these events where, in order to get out of your section, so usually your first place in a section, they'll go through unbeaten pretty much. So you have a centre that dominates. But the second place in the section is actually, it's just as often decided by your centres who've had a bad
Yep.
or maybe underperformed to what they think, and you get down to that last match of the Intercentre and suddenly you're looking for a Carpety to
Yes.
defeat Canterbury to
Yeah,
let
that's
Bethany
right.
get through
Yeah,
or something.
Just one match,
and
or,
they can find it.
or lose by less than, because points differential comes into it, doesn't it, eventually down the track.
We do see it happen a lot. It's one of the great things about this the Intercentre format. And I think too, whilst it has a lot of named players in it, you just have to look around the green. There's players who've won national titles literally in front of us.
Yeah.
Tony's won 5.
Yeah.
It does also allow really good provincial players to get a chance to play these people who've had success, because not everyone has the lifestyle where you could go to a nationals, or not everyone has that space in their lives to go, oh, I'm going to go and play all the national events and try and prove my point at a national level. But there are lots of players who are very successful at club level and very successful domestically.
Yes.
And it is at the Intercentre and the Interclub where they get their opportunity to prove their point.
And occasionally you hear people say, well, who's that playing? Who's playing singles for? Oh, he's not bad. Who is he? And those that know the person say, well, hang on, he's a crack player in our area. Just doesn't go off and play nationals and stuff. So yeah, it can be a bit of an eye opener. Players also play above their weight, so to speak, when you come from a smaller centre maybe and you're playing against the big boys. You find that you play your best bowls and give people a scare, overachieve perhaps. But that's one of the reasons why the suggestion, as we watch Grantham again here, leading by 19-11, first to 25, the suggestion that this should be played in 2 divisions, as it was, I think, at one stage, where you have a first division and a second division, but the winner of the second division gets automatic promotion.
Yes.
So automatic promotion, relegation. So there's a lot of people in favour of that, and yet when I talk to people who would, from teams who would probably be in the second division, they say, but what we love about the way it is at the moment is that we get to play those gun players.
Look at this. Oh, he's murdered absolutely murdered the jack.
Yeah.
Which means I should be able to press my murder button.
You haven't used it today, have you?
There we go.
There we go.
Nailed it.
Come up with the cross eyes. Yeah.
It's probably the best thing I've ever done for a broadcast, I think, that murder button. Taken out of context, that's not an idea.
That's right.
I'll think of a different name for it. So it's a killed end. And that means I now press another button, John.
To get rid of it,
Here
thanks.
we go.
Of course, we used to, as kids in a bygone era, Alex, talk about the murder house.
Yes.
Being the dentist.
Yeah. Still don't like dentists, I'm afraid.
Aptly named.
The whirring of the...
Oh.
Yeah. No. Not my favourite place. I don't think anyone's... I think if you said the dentist was your favourite place, you'd get some unusual looks, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Well, I was pleased. I discovered I had to go to a dentist at the end of last year because I thought my tooth was going to explode. And that was enough reason to go to a dentist, and they removed my tooth for me, which was nice. But I didn't realise we've had some advancements in what it's like to go to the dentist, and I was in the chair and looked up and they had a quiz show
Oh, yeah.
playing on a television.
screen,
I thought, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Something to distract from the whirring of the drill or whatever else it was.
It's either that or a nature program.
Yes, yeah.
So Wilson has the shot at the moment. Needs to really... It was a pretty big bowl from him in that last end. He was probably lying 3 down, 2 or 3. Suddenly victory is within sight for his opponent. But he, as Alex said, murdered the head. Took the jack out, killed it. Grantham with the closest bowl at the moment. So again, they're bowling away from the clubhouse and out to your right as we view it. There's some women's games in action there. And out to the left are the fours games. So we've got Bay of Plenty playing South Canterbury, and is it Wairarapa playing South Otago?
I wonder if we'll see Hamish wind up at this bowl. You know, the header to draw within that. Okay. I thought he may have considered it, John, just because we saw him be effective with his drive shot previously.
Well,
who might argue if he plays a good one here? Oh, he's just almost tickled the jack on the way past. And Tony's going to draw. I think if I was Tony, I would draw a third shot here and go, I'm now sitting on 22 shots, and if you're good enough to play a good bowl.
but I think with his bowl, which is at 5 o'clock, that Grantham dark grey one, that's in such a good position there that he can afford to just draw another one. And he hasn't fattened anything up there, has he? So
Wind up.
yeah,
On the forehand.
scorch the jack, take it back, grab two. Grantham pretends he's not watching. Now he does. He's keen too. He looks at it.
Oh, you're
how
joking.
on earth?
You're joking.
Gee. Well, you saw Grantham, who normally just steps straight in and picks up the mat. He stopped and looked because he knew that was in the zone.
Oh, I thought that was a perfect bowl,
Yeah.
John. I thought he had the jacks absolutely
Yep.
clean as a whistle
Yep.
there, but he didn't. And luckily for Hamish, we're racing to 25 shots here. So you'd think, 21's enough. It's not enough. 4 more shots does Tony Grantham need to close out this game. So it's like almost a second wind, isn't it? You get that little extra bit of time. 21 shots to 11. Appears very tight match. 16-14 to Canterbury.
Yeah.
And the fours is something. I'll ask Peter. We got there. I accidentally said hello to someone on the way, John.
Yes.
Which is not like me at all. Auckland leading by 3, 9-6 up they are in the fours.
Well, it's going to be a tight match, as you'd expect, between these two teams seeking really realistically to finish top of the pool, but with Bay of Plenty there as well. It's a tight group, and South Canterbury.
That's a very good bowl. How's
Pusher in.
this?
Yeah,
Oh, that's outstanding.
yeah, that might not just do it.
Slightly out of the count, I would say, that bowl at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, just by Wilson's body language afterwards.
Really needs, I mean, what are we on? 11. 21 is 10. 14 shots need to be. He needs to win the game 14-3. Hamish Wilson. That's his the equation. If he wins a game of singles from now, 14 shots to 3 against Tony Grantham, he'll win the match.
Yeah. Easy.
Simple.
Oh, he's starting out pretty well with that equation. He's just going to dip.
Up and over on the shot bowl. No.
Not far away here from Grantham again. Not going to quite reach it. So, from Wilson's point of view, what do you think? Forehand and just sit the shot bowl.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And if you can, flick that jack sideways to where the marker is. Bring all those bowls in.
If he has if he's got second and third shot,
Yeah.
Hamish may consider playing more weight
Yep.
at the shot bowl, because if he was narrow, he could still get a lucky result and score a 1.
I think he has got second and third from the way we view it.
Yeah, there may be some merit in it, just attacking the shot bowl here.
Yeah.
Playing a firm shot through that. That's what he doesn't want to do. You can't really afford to drop many more shots here. Technically, you can afford to drop 3 more shots in this match. And you drop the 4th one, and that's that. So if Hamish has second and third, I think we'll see quite an attacking bowl. Yeah, it's possible, actually.
With an ounce of luck, he could take both of Grantham's bowls out.
Yeah, so there's a chance if he hits onto
Yeah.
that one,
Yeah.
that could go there,
Yeah.
and then out it goes. So, absolutely, and that would leave you with 3 shots, which seems
Yep.
pretty simple.
Yep. It's going with weight.
Close.
Oh, that would
Well-
have done it, wouldn't it? I think it would have absolutely done it. The edge of that would have flicked that ball out onto the second shot, and he would have ended up with 3. But as it is, he, I imagine, has dropped a single here.
Outstanding, mate. Great ball.
Yeah, that was unlucky. He's done the right stuff here, Hamish. He's changed his game style as the game's got further away from him. It's not like you continue to play the controlled weight shots. We've seen him be quite comfortable winding up and playing a couple of drive shots. I think that's good from Hamish. I think that's how he'll have to play it in this match. And then you either go out with a bang or you don't, but it's probably the way back for him.
So you might have heard that applause. It was coming from the Piers match. And it was a Riker Gregory bomb, so to speak. And he and Adam Blucher down that far end are now just high-fiving each other. Look at that score, 16-15 to Canterbury. 3 ends to go after this, so we'll get a bit of that action in, I would say, because Grantham is now just 3 away from victory. Wilson will be trying to stretch that out, make him work hard for it.
Yeah, I would say so, John. Andy bowl. There's 2 forgettable first bowls from these players with their first couple.
It's that adjustment, isn't it, that they make. And Grantham, almost a perfect adjustment. With Wilson, it was more weight than anything. And he's adjusted nicely too.
Good bowl. Should be holding. Yeah, look at that. And this is where, for Hamish, if you're 22-11 down, I think you're actually better to go with a bang. Go, look, I'll just kill it. What are the chances you're going to draw the shot within an inch of the jack? Yeah, I'm not sold.
Well, that's right. If you're in that frame of mind, then you go with it with this bowl and then maybe draw with your next. But he's played 2 great shots.
He's
there.
played these
At
bowls.
any other end, he would be holding 2 shots.
Yep, they're very well played bowls. But Tony has a bowl within an inch of the jack, and you're 22-11 down, so you may as well try and chip the bowl out clean or kill it, I think. You're asking a lot to play a better bowl, I think is my point. That's a good bowl from Tony. No, it's not. Wonder if it's...
Well, it's usable, isn't it? I suppose
Yeah.
it's that giving him an edge to play with. Wilson can see the funny side of it, if there is one.
he plays the game in good spirit.
Yes,
Hamish.
yeah.
If Tony's bowl's low enough, the one on the right,
Hmm.
you could try and, as you say, use it. Play quite an attacking bowl, potentially. Get out of the way, Ralph. He's been good this game, actually.
Yep.
We'll blame Hamish for this. Right.
I spoke to a group at the Raumati Bowling Club last week when we had the Women's Masters
Yes,
for the
yep.
southern part of the North Island there. And they were all very interested to know about the TV coverage and what you do. And I explained to them that it's, a team of about 3, set it all up. And then I talked about bums on the box. And they knew exactly what I was talking about. How playing in front of the camera and forgetting really that the only view people have got of you if you're on camera is of your backside. So just made a few of them aware of it.
Thank you, John. Oh, it's so easy to do.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, those white lines that you can see to either side of the 2 metre mark are pretty much an indication that if you're behind those anyway, you know that if you're within those, you're going to be on screen.
Yeah.
So you move outside of them. But when the head is, 3 or 4 metres up, you haven't got those marks. And so it's easy to forget. And also, what's more important? Playing the bowls and being a good skip on the head, or not showing your bum?
Absolutely.
I think not showing your bum, actually.
I think the entire broadcast team would agree. I've often spoken about it. I think we could probably crowdfund a Bowls New Zealand cattle prod for a use
Yes,
in those
yeah,
situations. Just to go, there you go, you remember now.
I think I mentioned that the other night. Quite a few of the people there knew what a cattle prod was and were not relishing the thought of...
Look,
you could have a branding iron on the end of it, couldn't you?
Oh, that's a bit dramatic, John.
Yeah, no, and then you could just have a BB or something on it, bum on the box, so to speak. And you're scarred for life with it.
I think you'd only do it once.
Yeah.
Which is what you're looking for in these situations.
Here's Wilson down by 23-11. Just holding that shot to see if the shot itself gets sprung with a jack. Not quite. Nice position though.
Yeah, it's a really good first bowl, isn't it? Tony, though, will have every intention of finishing the game on this end. He'll be thinking to himself, I can score a 2 here. Here it comes. Oh, just a little bit shy. Oh, good call. Yeah, I like this. Yep.
That's good. Start again.
Yeah, that's good. That's really smart bowls
Yeah.
from Hamish Wilson. So he is well down in the game. So it's about acknowledging that Tony's 2 shots away from winning. When you're actually game down, you're better to go out with a bang than a whimper. And it's possible to frustrate your opponent. If Hamish can extend the game long enough, all you need is for the wind to change or the sun to go away, someone to get thirsty. You know, things can shift and the game could change around entirely. So it's a good bowl from Hamish there. Mighty game of pairs going on.
Wow, isn't it ever?
We'll just we might inception it a little bit so you can see
Yeah.
both. But look at this. We'll just switch across to the pairs. Riker Gregory. Oh, slightly overplayed that one. We'll stay on the pairs until Tony's delivered the jack. So explain, I'll take the squawky down to not confuse people. You've got Matt Bassett and Lance Pascoe taking on Adam Bluch and Riker Gregory. So very good bowlers. And the score is 16-15. Auckland still a nose ahead in the 4s. And up in the singles. So this pairs match will become very important if it's a close 4s game as well. If Canterbury could just hold on to this, it'll come down to the 4s.
So Pascoe putting in what appears to be 3rd shot with his last. Gregory looking to get around that bowl, and I think he has. Oh no, not quite. Just not enough weight to carry it on to the jack. So we're back with the singles now. This big match between Hamish Wilson and Tony Grantham, with the Aucklander up by 23-11. It's the first to 25 shots. Wilson killed the last end. And there at the bottom of your screen is a reminder that you can pick up all the results on bowlshub.co.nz. Results.
We do appear to have lost Hamish Wilson. It's one way to not lose a game, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Just go away.
Oh, I can see him. He's in the house which is out. I like the tui that they've painted on the outside toilet.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, you mentioned about how people could find the results, but you can also, and you mentioned the greens that the events are being played on, but you could double up. You could use the fantastic new swimming pool here at Naenae and do a bit of aqua jogging or have a swim, sauna, that sort of thing here at this fabulous new complex.
I've been very
and then wander over here and watch some bowls.
Sounds great. I've been very impressed with that facility. And I think good to have something like that in any community. And obviously it's the patronage is there. Every time I've waddled across to the bakery.
You're thinking, I should have a swim and do some exercise.
And they go, just keep going to the Power Pie. Great to have that sort of facility. And really, it's a pretty cool sporting area. A kilometre circle around the Naenae bowling club. There's some neat things.
Has he got the weight to get here for the shot? Yes, he has.
Good bowl. Very good bowl.
Oh, nice. It falls in nicely for Grantham, just as Wilson would be thinking to himself, right, I've got that shot now, I just need to get another, extend this a bit more.
he can't be. Surely this won't find the gap this time. Not this time. Yes, well played. That's
Yeah.
a good bowl.
Play through those balls, mate. Sit and stay.
Lovely bowl.
Yep.
Fighting hard to stay in this match. And we'll see weight from Tony. Not sure how much weight, but there'll be some weight here. We've got a bowl and a jack to reach through.
And it's a sort of weight that Wilson will play with next too if things don't change. He's found the gap. So that same sort of weight and sitting on to the shot bowl would give him 3. We're just drawing another. Whose bowl is it? Just behind the jack on the right. Is that Wilson's? No, it's gone a bit wider here, but if his weight's okay, this might just bring it in for a wide shot. That's holding shot and being wide rather than narrow. I think he's fallen short. So a single,
It was a perfect line though,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was,
To,
absolutely.
to not cut across the centre line. And 12-23 the score. When was the Magna Carta signed? That was around then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
12-23. Anyway, 12-23 is the score. And Hamish doing very well to stay in this boat. Don't mind me, team. It's been
No.
a long day.
Everyone enjoys the fact that you're interested in history. And I said history and I didn't finish my sentence, did I? But history
and interesting
and other
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
So looking at Canterbury in 1981 at the Intercentre, then the Rothmans Intercentre, there was an article which said Linwood could justifiably think they'd done a pretty good job in providing all 4 members of the Canterbury Intercentre fours team. However, the Paratutu Club of New Plymouth did a good deal better. All 7 members of the Taranaki team that year came from Paratutu. And some of the great names, Dave Baldwin, Bruce Johns, Bill and Tom MacArthur, John Murtagh, Bruce Ballinger, and Jim Christie. All those, that whole Taranaki team came from the one club.
Quite incredible, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, the sun's out.
Then, of course, bowls has changed dramatically from, we've often talked about uniforms, but also the fact that there was a New Zealand Bowls Men's Association and a Women's Association. They eventually saw the sense and got together. But in 1982, they introduced an inter-centre tournament with a similar concept to the men's competition for the women.
Alongside.
Yep. So there you go. As they would have said in those days, I think it's about time we just let the women out for an afternoon.
Quite incredible. It's been, I'll figure it out, 1996 was when we amalgamated.
Yep.
Which must mean we're coming up to the 30th year
Yeah,
of Bowls
yeah.
New Zealand next year.
Yeah.
Be the 30th
Oh, wow.
anniversary. We're very early in the bowls world to action that, and a source of quite some satisfaction when, you know, the Northern Hemisphere, I think Wales still has 2 separate governing bodies for the their national game.
I think
which
so.
just seems
Yeah.
madness in 2025.
Yeah.
So we were well ahead of the trend. Well, it's gone very well.
So that pairs score now. We're playing the 16th end, and it's Canterbury 19-15 ahead.
Needs it to guts the jack. Oh, this should be the winning bowl coming from Tony Grantham. There's room here to draw the 25th shot.
It's on a favoured length of his. Matt's a fair way back. The jack is almost on the 2 metre mark. He's holding 1. He needs 1 more for victory here.
And his first opportunity to do so, the first time of asking, can he play the bowl?
And the news will filter through to the other two games. Well, the peers know what's going on because they're playing in the next rink. So here's Grantham for this match. Draw a second shot. Oh, he might have put a bit on this, has he? He has.
To pull up. No, he's done it.
Well, the brakes came on there. And so it is a 2 there to Tony Grantham. It is enough to give him victory over Hamish Wilson. So it's 1-0 in this clash between two of the superpowers of New Zealand rugby. Tony Grantham wins it.
Lovely stuff. And we'll move now to watch the peers. We'll just, yep. Brilliant. And if I'm clever, John, which hasn't often been said, and I press this button, we'll keep the score up so we know the score.
Yeah.
So it's on the penultimate end. Beautiful. What good work. And 2015 the score. So the singles to Auckland.
Yep.
Got there.
25-12, I think it was. And so if Canterbury hold on to this lead, then it will be 1-1, and it will be all on that fours match, which was very tight. So we'll do a check on that too, just to let you know. Blucher on the prowl after this, bouncing down, chasing it, urging it on. You'll see some reaction from him. It might well be cap on the ground. No.
I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Who's standing in the way there?
That's Adam.
There we go. So Canterbury leading by 5 on this penultimate end. Auckland holding 1. So Adam with the black bowls.
Pasco on the mat.
Watched Lance in the final of the Open New Zealand mixed pairs, and obviously the New Zealand men's pairs as well, where he won with Jamie Hill. He's got wrecked on one of the front bowls. Get someone to give us an update on the fours.
Yeah.
This is when you get the managers running around, don't you?
They've got to do something, don't they?
That's what they say.
So Gregory has Blucher with his hands on his knees, crouched, watching any flick. Oh, that's in a handy ball. Gosh.
He's done the trick.
He might have.
So Matt just looking at the head here. I think he'll ask Lance to play on his backhand side. Like I think when you look at it, there are a number of options reaching in through here. You could look to hit any of the bowls up or just go clean through underneath. Two down on the head by the looks.
Sorry. Just say you're on a TV game now, so keep away from the camera. Cheers, mate.
So he's decided to play his backhand. Oh, sort of under the line a little there, wasn't he?
Yeah, wry smile. So now Gregory, who was Close to getting the shot there, but with his last one, so his is the grey speckled one. Can get caught up again, is he? Gee, that ducks a bit there, doesn't it?
Interesting. I still think we're going to see Lance anywhere. 1 second. If I press the right button. Anywhere in there, John. That's what you're visualising. Sort of reaching through there. Yeah, 2 down on the head, 5 up on the card. You just give yourself a good chance, even around reaching into there. That's fine. You know, it's not the end of the world. I think just give yourself a chance within 2 or 3 feet through that gate, and anything could happen.
I think he's looking for that narrower gate. Ooh, tiptoeing out as if to say, oh.
Oh, he's on the forehand.
Gee.
Oh, yeah.
Well, certainly wasn't the way we saw
Fair
that
enough.
indicate.
Oh, what do I know, John?
Yeah.
So now it's a question for Riker. Oh, how many is it worth? So what they're looking at here is if you get rid of this bowl,
Yep. Ooh.
what do you have left? We know that
1,
that's
2,
first
3.
and second shot,
Yep.
and then you'd have 3, 4. I think you'd sit with 4 if you got rid of it. Maybe that's what he was pointing at. Be a very brave bowl to play.
Yeah. But Gregory's that sort of player. And he's staying with the forehand, is he?
He's going for that bowl though.
Yeah. Oh, he is too. He is. Oh, gee.
What a
fraction away from nailing it.
That was a great effort there. And it's going to be 2 shots to
I
the
think
Auckland
so.
team.
We'll see 17 go up, yes. So 20 to 17, playing the last.
It's quite exciting, John.
Yes.
And before we go off here, we will find the score out in that fours match. I'm sure my eyes used to be good enough that I'd be able to see, but I looked and I can see that there's a scoreboard. Now, 10 all after 12 is the score on the
Oh,
fours.
okay. Oh, wow. There's been some tight games already on this opening day.
The results.
So Auckland won the singles. Tony Grantham won that match. Auckland have closed to within 3, playing the last end of this pairs game. But Adam Blucher was short with his first.
And you need half of your bowls to count here for Auckland. So for Canterbury, this is good news.
You know, it's a fairly pressure situation here. You're looking to win this. You wanted to get 3 shots here to draw it at least, and Adam Blucher was so quick on the mat.
This is a bowl here that they'll feel like it could be a winning bowl potentially for Matt Bassett. If he can draw a front toucher, explain to me how Auckland could score a 3.
I don't think he's going to be up there.
Oh, that's not a winning bowl. But very important to your point now, John, that we see Adam be past the head because he's got 2 bowls that are short of bouncing the jack back up the rink. You can't make them count. That's poor. He'll be disappointed with that.
Gee.
Now all 3 of Riker's bowls have to be counting bowls, really.
Yeah, putting the pressure all on the skip, and particularly after Riker had been so obvious and where he wanted it. Come to the 2 metre mark. I want you 2 metre mark. I don't care where else you are. Just be up here. Give me something to use. We can't get 3 from those 3.
Yeah, it does mean that 3 is probably going to be your 3 would be an exceptional result for Auckland. They won't score a 4 out of this.
Yeah.
And he's going to need to play 3 brilliant bowls and
Or
also hope that Lance misses all 3 of his. But apart from that, should be easy.
Or he might try and kill it. I don't know what our time situation
Oh, yeah,
is.
there's
but-
time. Absolute killing's a legitimate option here.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll see Riker play his first bowl. Yeah, he's reaching through. See if he can play through the shot bowl or up onto either of Adams. That's a very clever bowl from Riker Gregory. And he's got a bowl past. Yeah,
Yep.
that's well played.
And he's opened that up too, hasn't he, for playing onto the second shot at the moment.
Handy bowl from Lance. So Riker now has a decision to make as to what weight he plays.
Yeah, and I think he's taken away the kill now, hasn't he? Because of the situation, it's quite healthy for him. Hit that one up for another shot.
This
Yep,
is
there we go.
magic
That's-
bowls
yeah,
from Riker Gregory.
So it's there for him. Gosh.
Well, that's absolutely incredible stuff from Riker.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of work he's just done.
You need to come and have a look at this, Lance, because this is getting to a situation where you have to be defensive here.
Well, the problem is, if Riker
Takes out that bowl to the right.
Riker
at 3
just has
o'clock.
to hit that bowl.
Yeah. And he's got 4.
And it's happy days.
Yep.
So I wonder if we'll see Lance consider playing the backhand side. You hit that bowl. Yeah, that there what
Yeah.
Matt is pointing at. And that way, at the very least, you're getting yourself a bowl in the area, giving something else for Riker to worry about. You play the forehand, you could overplay it. And then Riker's just got the shot bowl to remove and suddenly you draw or game down. Quite an incredible 2 bowls from Riker Gregory, given what he crossed over with. And Lance playing the backhand as we thought he might.
Ooh.
It's a good weight, but, well,
No, I don't know if it was all that good that weight. I thought he was more wanting to come in to just behind his own shot or second shot. Because I don't know. I don't think Riker's going to have a go. He's not going to go and kill this. He wants to get 4, and he can, or he can at least get 3. Just by drawing onto that second shot.
yeah, 3, I think.
If he drew and turned that over, that green shot there at 3 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, sat there.
Yeah.
He's got 4. Still 1 to play for Pascoe.
Yep, I'm sold. You don't want to waste too much time. The only challenge he may find is his bowls are quite straight, so
Yeah.
he might find it hard to get the second shot bowl square enough that his collision bowl doesn't
Yes, yep.
move to the right as we see it. But who'd bet against that?
Big bowl. Here we go. He likes it. He's on his haunches. He likes it. He's going to get it. He's going to not get it. Well, that was it. He was hunting that bowl. So it's no need for Canterbury to play their last, I don't think, if they don't want to. They've got the shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be trying too.
No.
I wouldn't be trying too hard.
What's he doing? Why is he worrying about it?
I'm not sure. Well, I suppose it's important to try and
it might count at the end of the day.
score. So then, well, what's the least dangerous way to play a scoring bowl? You'd almost...
He's checking with his man. Stephen O'Driscoll's up there. He's talking to him. So
Yeah, he won't be trying too hard here.
No.
You'd hate to flick it or something and chip out your second shot bowl and suddenly you've dropped a 3. So he'll just be either shaking hands or not even going to play the bowl.
So now it all gets down to the fours match.
Just still all square. And we don't have a cable that goes quite far enough to get to the fours match. So quite fascinating what we've ended up. This is what you don't want to do.
Oh. Gee. The Canterbury team were all up there watching. They've all turned their backs and going, as I did. Oh.
What did I say?
He almost gave it away. Gee.
Goodness gracious me. Anyway, there we have it. So that concludes the first broadcast coverage we have from this National Intercentre. Thank you for joining me in the afternoon, John. It was nice to talk a little bit. And we do know, well, not a huge amount, we know that it's all 1 each for Auckland and Canterbury. If you want to find the results a little bit later on, there's still 3 ends to go and the fours are all square. Go to results.poleshub.co.nz for the results there. We're back tomorrow from 12:15. 12:15 tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you then.